Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we try to squeeze in as many segments as we can here. And 2 bailouts already, but I think I've had a good time learning that there is such thing as the $34,000 motorcycle. And it's got an Indian name on it. And you can get it right over in the Mount Moriah listed, well, I used to say just a 9-iron shot away, but right now I think it's about a driver or a little bit further than that from the studios over here to Frank Barton and Barton Power Sports. Frank is here as he is every third Saturday.
It's usually every third Saturday, but you've been moving me around lately, last month or two.
No, we're set now. We're set now. And Guy Trebo.
What you said the last time.
Guy Trebo is your new sidekick now and your interpreter. You know, I don't know which one's Bud and which one's Abbott, but we'll let y'all decide that during the show. Guy Trebo, good morning.
Good morning, Larry.
And all y'all can check out Guy on Public Storage out there on Germantown Road. And he's also the webmaster for lroutdoors.com. And we've talked a lot with Guy today about some new things on the website. The website is very important. We're going to include this gentleman's information coming up. I actually went and went to Amazon. I'm now a Kindle, part of the Kindle team on Amazon, where I can actually pick up books and read them right on my computer. And I know this guy is the most prolific outdoor writer out there. You know, he does not have fingers anymore. They're down to just nubs, you know, where he has typed out stories or dictated. I don't know if he types like I do, but that's my good friend John Phillips out of Alabama. Good morning, John.
Hey, Larry, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm glad that we got you on the show, and you only have one segment, so you are a busy. How many books have you written?
I think it's over 100. Some of them were written 30 years ago, and then when we got into Kindle and Create Space and Audible, I think we've got about 86 on there.
You and your wife, Denise.
That's right.
I mean, we all need that person, and she is your person, right?
That's it.
I mean,
that's it. She's the president. I just do whatever she says. Every morning I get up and she tells me what to do, and I go do it, and life is good.
Well, that's the way it should be, John, if you're going to do this. But before we talk about your 2 latest books, tell our listeners out there a little about how you got into this, John, because I'm really truthful. John has touched so many lives in his outdoor career as a journalist. From his days at Birmingham, he and I know what it means to be an outdoor editor of a newspaper, and all of a sudden nothing happens and things like that happen. But he is so, I don't know, on the go. And to think that he's only 26 years old, that's just what blows my mind, you know. So I'm being funny.
Well, no, really, I've got dyslexia, so that means that the last number in my age goes in front, and the first one goes in the back. And so that makes me a whole lot younger than I really am.
Well, tell our listeners how you got into this.
I went to college to learn to be a YMCA physical director, but the problem was the college was 15 minutes from 8,500 acres that I was the only person that hunted during the week.
Oh, my goodness.
And to make it worse, the hunting club was bordered by the Tom Bigby River, so I took a squirrel dog, aluminum John boat, and an 18-horsepower motor, and I went to college. And between my hunting and fishing, I did get an education. But it wasn't easy.
But how did you get into what you're doing, though? I mean,
I saw a friend of mine had an article in Outdoor Life, and I said, I know that boy hadn't hunted and fished as much as I have. So I knew I didn't know how to be an outdoor writer, but I decided that I could learn anything in 5 years. I could be a brick mason, a stone mason, a carpenter, pipe fitter, plumber. You know, I could learn any trade in 5 years. So I decided that I wanted to learn to be an outdoor writer, and it didn't matter what happened from the time I started till 5 years from now, as long as I was one.
Yeah. And then of course, you took the route many of us take, the newspaper route. I don't mean throwing the paper, though sometimes throwing up the paper, I guess, with that. But you took that job, and you know how newspapers have changed, right?
Right. I did a lot of things. I was a newspaper writer. I was an AP correspondent. I had a syndicated radio show.
Yes.
Wrote for magazines. I did everything I could to try and turn a nickel at this business.
And then it became Nighthawk.
Right.
How did that name come about?
We were just sitting around trying to think of a name, and I thought that was a cool name, and that's sort of the way it happened. But really and truly, the way I really got into making a living, I wrote 49 of the greatest stories ever written that nobody bought. And then I met my mentor, J. Wayne Fears, and
yes.
He told me and he was writing 100 articles a year, and I didn't know anybody that could do that.
No.
And I told him I wanted to be one of them big time, full time, money making outdoor writers like him. He said it's easy. I said no, I tried easy. Easy didn't work. He said, well, it's simple. I said no, I tried simple too. That didn't work either. I said, okay, if it's so simple and easy, what do I do to become what you are?
Yeah.
He said, are you paying attention? I said, absolutely. He said, you do what I say, and you'll be what I am. I said, monkey see, monkey do? He said, absolutely. I said, I can handle that. And so for 5 years, if he took a step backwards, he stepped on me.
You were there. Yeah.
I was there. And I think that the easiest, quickest way to get into any profession, whether it be outdoor writing or rocket scientist, is find somebody who is one.
Yes.
And do whatever they tell you to do.
And, of course, I had the fortune to follow the one and only Henry Reynolds for so many years here in Memphis, and outdoor editor for 40-something years at Commercial Appeal. And John is also, I might make note, as part of our Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News team of writers, always has something interesting. Last month, he was in there. Let's see, what did John have? I get so much turnaround. He had bad weather bucks, which was a great subject. He's got another one in our edition that will be coming out really soon. And I know he writes for many magazines, but talk about these latest books and about Kindle, because you've hit on two subjects that I know you looked at and said, hey, we need to write about this. So tell our listeners a little bit about the two new books that you've got out.
All right. Well, one of them is called the Outdoor Women Hall of Fame. And the fastest growing segment in the outdoor market is women coming into the outdoors.
Right.
And I knew that I've known some women that became very successful in the outdoors, but all of them went a different route. And everybody, I've met a lot of ladies and a lot of young girls who wanted a profession in the outdoors. And so what I did was the same way I learned to get into this industry. I went to the 10 or 12 or 13 most successful women I knew who had made careers in the outdoor industry, and say, tell me how you did it. So it's, you got about 8 or 10 or 12 different roadmaps of how to get into the outdoor industry and make a living at it and make a good living for quite a while. And that's what this book is all about.
Well, I know that you included many of the women. When we did our all-female show, Guy, that was back in the fall or something like that, wasn't it?
Just several weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. I was on it.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, and we had 12 women, something
14,
like that.
14
on this show for 90 minutes, talking about women in the outdoors, and lo and behold, I look up and you got a book. And half of the ones that I had on this show are in your book. And that was probably the hardest thing for you, was just who's going to be in here and who do I have to leave out?
Well, and that's the reason we named it the Hall of Fame. There's so many great women in the outdoors.
Yes, they are.
We couldn't get them all between two covers. And so we left the door open to come out with a second edition and a third edition. And the second book that we've got out right quick is it's called The Winning Strategies of the Bass Pros. And the bass fishermen have changed drastically from when you and I first got into business.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, two of the hottest bass fishermen out there came up through the college ranks. And these young men have got college educations. And for 4 years, they learned how to be tournament fishermen.
Yeah.
And I got Jordan Lee and Dustin Cannell.
Yes.
Jordan won $300,000 in the Bassmasters Classic, and Dustin won $100,000 at the Bassmasters Open tournament in Mississippi, and they're both 25 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
So, now, when little Johnny comes up to Daddy and says, Daddy, I want to be a tournament pro bass fisherman, I'm quitting after high school, he said, oh, no, you go get that college education,
right.
Then you'll get trained to be a tournament bass fisherman. And you can find out whether you really like all the travel and all the fishing in any kind of weather and touring all over the country and, fishing in clear water, muddy water, stained water during the rain, sleet, and snow.
Yeah.
And after 4 years, you either got a college education and you don't want to be a tournament fisherman, or you've got a college education, and not only can you be a tournament fisherman, but you can be a marketer, a businessman, and everything else that a tournament pro has to be.
And that's what they are now. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, when they get on stage, it's not every one of them knows how to talk. They've got marketing abilities, and that's what the sponsors look for. But folks, we got to go. But tell them how they can get these books. Tell them how.
You can go to Amazon, and you can get them either as an ebook or you can get them as a print book on Amazon.com.
That's all you have to do, folks, and we're going to post that on LROutdoors.com. I've already paid my entry fee, so I can get some of these books, too. John, thank you, buddy. We'll talk again, okay?
Thank you, pal. I'm glad that we could talk.
Have a good one. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Rain. Come right back, and we are going north to Wisconsin for ice fishing.
You can find out all